Now, speaking of women and sex appeal, I guess, biggest sex scandal that we've had maybe in my lifetime, other than Bill Clinton's Oval Office dalliances. Bill Clinton, though, was friends with these people, so I guess it all relates. Ghislaine Maxwell might be called to testify before Congress. For years now, we've been calling for the release of the Epstein files. And we have a lot of the Epstein files, but it doesn't give us that much juicy info. Then we say we want the Epstein client list. What is the Epstein? The government says there is no client list. Well, there were clients, there were associates, there were at least the people accused of palling around with him, people on the flight logs. Shouldn't we investigate that? Well, I don't know. It's the information is a little murky. It's a little dubious. Okay. Well, can we interview Jeffrey Epstein? No, because he's dead. How did he die? Don't worry about it. Can we interview the guards that were on duty when Epstein was killed or killed himself? Oh, they were using the John. Sorry, they weren't there at the moment. It doesn't seem like we can get answers from anybody. But there is one woman who has all the dirt. The woman who was closest to Epstein for years and years and years. Ghislaine Maxwell, still in prison. Some Republicans want her to testify. In fact, James Comer of the House Oversight Committee has subpoenaed Ghislaine Maxwell for a deposition. And Ghislaine Maxwell has responded. Will she talk? Won't she talk? She has given the smartest answer she could possibly have given. This month, your Daily Wire Plus membership gives you more than ever. You get ad-free, uncensored shows from the most trusted, handsome voices in conservative media. You also get entertainment that matters, like What is a Woman and Am I Racist? And our brand new documentary, Journey to the UFC. August 13th, you will get a documentary from me. The Secret Vatican Files premieres exclusively to members. Plus, Isabel Brown's new show launches right here this fall. Are you already a member? Gift a full year of Daily Wire Plus for 40% off with code JULY. Go to dailywire.com to join or give a membership today. My favorite comment yesterday is from Klaujuv7092. What CNN meant to say was, hopefully, this refers to after the horrible shooting in New York, the CNN analysts go on. They say, okay, the shooter used a rifle and was from out of state, and he was probably white. And then you look at him, he's like the least white person who's ever walked the face of the earth. I don't know. He could be multiple races, but he sure ain't white. And you're right. It wasn't probably right. What they meant to say is hopefully. Please let him be white. Please let him be white. Let him be Christian. Let him be straight. Please let him be my enemy. That's the kind of analysis you get on. It's not just CNN. It's all the liberal news channels. Okay. Ghislaine Maxwell asked to testify before Congress. Here's what her lawyers write. Our initial reaction was that Ms. Maxwell would invoke her Fifth Amendment rights and decline to testify at this time. This is according to her attorney, David Oscar Marcus. So, see, the Congress can subpoena Ghislaine Maxwell, and she can say, I plead the Fifth against self-incrimination. So she has every right not to give up anything. However, the attorney writes, after further reflection, we would like to find a way to cooperate with Congress if a fair and safe path forward can be established. Now, what else does this say? The letter says that they're going to request a delay in the testimony until after the Supreme Court rules on her appeal. And the letter says that if she receives clemency from Trump, a commutation of her sentence, for instance, then she'll testify. And the layers of this political chess move are so brilliant. First off, why is Ghislaine Maxwell being subpoenaed? Because the people, a large portion of the Republican base, wants an answer on the Epstein story. And they're not getting an answer they certainly didn't get it from the government under Joe Biden, and they're not really getting all that much of an answer under this government. So now, the executive branch, President Trump doesn't want to have to deal with this issue, which long predates him. So he tries to kick it to the judiciary. He says, okay, I've directed the DOJ to ask the judges to unseal the grand jury testimony, because the DOJ can't just unseal the grand jury testimony in the Epstein case. They've got to go to the judges. So, okay, hot potato. It's out of the executive branch. It's out of the White House. It's over at the courts. Then the courts have it, and the courts say, hot potato. We don't want to unseal the grand jury testimony because there's no compelling reason to, and it could cause all sorts of problems. Hot potato. Whew. So now it's up in the air. So then the people have only one branch of government left they can turn to. They turn to Congress. And they say, okay, Congress, now you got the hot potato of Jeffrey Epstein. And the Congress says, shoot, hot potato. Okay, well, we got to do something with this because our constituents who elect us every 2 years in the House and every 6 years in the Senate, they really want us to do something. But we have to balance other concerns, namely, we need to have a good relationship with the White House, or we're going to have our political careers nuked. We're, in the short term, not going to get any legislation passed. And in the long term, we're going to be run out of the government. So we have a responsibility to our constituents, and we need to make sure that we're in their good graces, but we can't irritate the White House. And the White House doesn't really want any more of this coming out. And so they kicked it to the court. The court doesn't want this coming out. Now it's got to come to Congress. Okay, well, shoot. All right, let's subpoena Ghislaine Maxwell. That's the only thing we can do. And Ghislaine Maxwell says, all right, I got nothing to lose. I'm just in prison forever now. So, okay, I'll come testify, but you got to give me something. I'll give you what you want, which is for me to testify. But you got to give me something. Namely, you got to give me clemency. Since you really want me to testify. But the funny thing is, the executive branch doesn't really care if she testifies or not. Probably doesn't really even want her to because they think that this issue is a distraction from all the achievements of the administration. So they kind of say they want her to, but they don't really want her to testify. The Congress doesn't really want her to testify. They don't care. They think this thing's probably a dead end. It's not going anywhere. If this really is a matter of super secret high-level intelligence, nothing's going to come out. And if it's not, then all the information's already out. So they don't actually want her to testify. And they know, she knows that they don't want her to testify. And they know that she knows that they don't want her to testify. But she knows that the people demand that they want her to testify, even though they don't really want her to testify. So this is like 11D chess. And the question is, for the Congress, for the White House, I guess, and the Congress, can they keep this on the back burner long enough that they don't have to grant her clemency? And they don't even have to have her come testify. Because, by the way, she's put, on the White House specifically, she's put them in an impossible situation. If the White House grants Ghislaine Maxwell clemency, the headline from Democrats is going to be, President Trump goes soft on his old friend to cover up for Jeffrey Epstein, and no one is being held accountable, not even the madam who procured all the underage girls. That's going to be the headline. So he's damned if he does. But then if Trump doesn't give her clemency, the headline is going to be, Trump refuses to have Ghislaine Maxwell testify, refuses to do what needs to be done to get Ghislaine Maxwell to testify because he's trying to cover up for the Epstein sex ring. So he's damned if he doesn't. There is nothing. I mean, it's a masterstroke from Ghislaine Maxwell's attorneys. She's put the Congress in a bad position because the Congress also kind of says they want her to testify, but they don't really want her to testify, and they kind of want this thing to move on because the longer the story is in the news. I don't think this incriminates Trump in any way. I don't think this incriminates prominent Republicans in any way. I think that's all nonsense. But the longer it's in the news, the more distracting it is. There's only so much attention. There's only so much political capital. They want to move on and do other things like the trade deal in Europe, like other investigations, like immigration policy, like resolving wars. So it's just bad for this to be in the news for Republicans. And so she's got the Congress in a bad spot, but she's really got the White House in a bad spot. I don't know what they do here. You know what? On 99.7% of issues, if the White House asked my opinion, I would have a strong opinion on what to do. In this case, Ghislaine has really boxed them into a corner. Give her clemency so she can speak or not. I mean, I guess I would say if I were advising the White House, I would say don't give her clemency. Because at the very least, you can always say she was trying to wriggle out of it. We'd love for her to testify. In fact, I want to make her testify. We're going to exhaust all legal options through the DOJ to force Ghislaine to testify before Congress. But we're not going to give her clemency. We're not letting her off the hook for her terrible crimes. I guess that's what I would say. But there's no way to respond to this without drawing a little blood. Maybe this woman is a super spy after all. Maybe she's a smart political operator. At the very least, she has very good attorneys. That was a great clip. Now stop. Ring the bell. Subscribe. See you next time.